match in this one, as Chelsea go into it having picked up 6 red cards before the start of November. The most recent was Liam Delap against Wolves, and his manager Enzo Maresca was not impressed, calling it a stupid dismissal. Well, he sat down today with Jamie Weir.
Is there a discipline problem at the moment with the number of red cards?
Yeah, I said also that some of the red card was difficult to avoid.
Yeah.
But some of them we could avoid. So we need to learn, and we need to improve that.
And how do you improve that? What is the key to improving that?
I think you have to experience. You have to live some moments to get better. And for sure now, after this situation, I hope that in the future we can avoid the amount of red card that we concede until today.
Tottenham-Chelsea is always a game which something happens in. Always a crazy game. It was a crazy game last year and the season before when I know you weren't the Chelsea manager. But it is a rivalry which is always very fierce, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a derby. It's a huge game. Last year we won both, and this season we're gonna try to do exactly the same. Prepare the game in the best way, knowing that it's a derby, and try to win the game.
The game last year, 4-3, I think flattered Tottenham. I think Chelsea dominated the game much more than that, and Cole Palmer's Panenka penalty and all that. But it was a really complete performance from Chelsea last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was also very happy in the second game at home where we won just 1-0.
Yeah.
We were solid, but all the games, they are different. The good thing is at the end, if you can win.
A player that Chelsea fans are very excited about is Estevao. He's only 18, he's still a kid. So what is that balancing act like for a manager in terms of not throwing him in at the deep end too soon?
Yeah, especially when he comes from Brazil, South America. So they need to adapt slowly. He's doing fantastic. He's working well. When we give him the chance, he's doing well. And this is something that he has to just to continue to play football, enjoy. And again, it's another talent from this club that the fans, they will enjoy for many years.
You know what fans are like when they see a player who is so exciting and can change games. They want to see him start every week. Is he ready to be started in huge games like against Tottenham?
Yeah, he's ready. He played the other day. I think since he arrived, he played almost every game. Some of them from the start, some of them from the bench. So he's very happy with this situation.
Yeah, loads to unpack there, really. But Jodie, just to start off, how would you describe Chelsea at the moment? Because it was a bit of a mixed bag midweek, and it feels like that maybe sums up their season. They're just inconsistent. Some great moments, some not so good moments.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's been like that in nearly every game. Where, I mean, I've done some of the games for Chelsea, but you wouldn't know what you're getting from the first half to the next, let alone game to game. They play really well for some spells where you're going like that's half an hour of dominance and look great, and you go, oh, nothing can change it. And then either a silly decision, a poor decision which would lead to a goal, or something that can change the game, i.e. red cards, will then change the whole narrative or the whole feeling of the game. And I think the element of, because we are a young group, sometimes we go under quite quickly when there's the bad moments in the game. But yeah, not knowing what you're actually getting, like I said, there's been spells in games where we've looked really, really good, and then half an hour later we're like unrecognisable, so it's difficult. So
you say they're sort of almost individual decisions or errors maybe. As a coach then, coming from your coaching background, how do you eliminate that?
Yeah, well, it's difficult, and I was talking to a few of my Chelsea fan mates about it when they was talking about Maresca, and I was like, he can't do anything about the silly red cards. He can't do anything about some of the mistakes that have individual mistakes. We've all made them in games, but when they lead to goals, and what you would want to be maybe dealing with better is the fact that when the kind of tide turns a little bit and maybe the swing of the game goes, you've got to then do better dealing with the bad moment in the game. And as a coach, that's obviously down to the manager, but there's so many things that have gone wrong during the game where the manager can have no effect over it.
I mean, Jamie Weir was obviously asking him about the red card situation there, because it seems extreme, doesn't it? 5, obviously, for players. He's been red carded himself, Enzo Maresca. What do you put that down to? because he said some are avoidable, some aren't, and there are learnings obviously to take from that.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think you look at the Liam Delap one there, and I think as a manager, if you see a player on a yellow card and they're looking like they're going to get that second yellow, that can be avoided. You take them off, but this happens so fast that you can't really do anything about it. I think there was 6 or 7 minutes in between the 2 cards, but I think I agree in terms of how you deal with it after. Enzo Maresca is a manager that the way that he plays, he likes to have a number overload. He likes to get the ball in certain areas of the pitch and make sure he's got an extra number in there to be able to play his way out of situations. And obviously, when they go a man down, that's a lot harder to do and a lot harder to create that numerical advantage.
Got to ask you about Estevao, because I mean, since Chelsea were even linked to him, I think it was like May last year maybe, fans were already excited. Now he's at the club. It feels like if you were designing a player for fans to get excited about, he's the perfect player.
I think to say I'm all over him would be an understatement. It's like
calm down.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I love him just purely because I think the different facets of his game that he's shown already. I mean, this finish here for an 18-year-old kid, and this was him scoring in the 3rd competition of the season already, come up in October. An 18-year-old kid, the keeper actually does well there, standing up, like being big to beat, and he still scoops it over him. But I think he takes shots from outside the box. He can't wait to get a shot off, which is not necessarily something that you would see with someone as technically gifted and who can dribble as much as him. He can go by people. He also runs without the ball, and that's both defensively and offensively. He makes runs in behind defenders for fun, and that's a midfielder's dream. So I think he's giving defenders all sorts of problems, and I like his personality. Like I said, he presses from the front, tracks back, and he looks like he wants to show the stadium. I mean, to say he's on way to becoming a cult hero might sound a little bit too early, but the fans love him, and I'm one of them.
No, clearly. But interesting to hear Maresca say he's ready for the big games, ready to start big games as well.
Yeah, well, I think he started the season like that. I remember him coming on, I think he made one of the games in pre-season just before the season started, and the way he lifted the place when he's just getting shots off. He makes actions happen in the final third, but also shows you bits of flair where you're like, it gets you on the edge of your seat and takes your breath away a little bit. And I think the personality that he's got and the temperament, I think his ceiling is so high.
Now, Thomas Frank, meanwhile, has taken Spurs to 3rd in the Premier League, but his more pragmatic approach hasn't yet got fans quite as buzzing as Jody was there talking about Estevao. So we asked Tactico, Pythagoras in boots, to look into the early numbers to see if Frank can merge a stable defence with a style that the supporters can really get behind.
Now, Tottenham are quietly evolving under Thomas Frank. Off the ball, statistically, they look a more secure side. But on the ball, quite frankly, there's a lot more work that needs to be done. Let's start with some positives. Spurs have maintained their attacking strength from corners. They were the 3rd best team under Ange Postecoglou, and they maintained that under Thomas Frank. Spurs are now one of the best teams in terms of forcing opponents to take low quality shots. So overall, they're more compact, more secure, and less likely to leak goals. Spurs are conceding fewer goals from open play. They've moved away from that aggressive high line. Defenders like Romero don't need to make 40-yard sprints back, which should maintain their hamstrings going to the latter half of the season. Going forward, the picture isn't as pretty. Attacks generated from positional attacks are down, shots generated from counter-attacks are down, and generally overall XG per 90 is down too. Now, whilst Kudus has instantly become the face of that Tottenham attack and a reference point on the ball, has he given the team more cutting edge? One player who's been deeply affected is Brennan Johnson. Now, under Ange Postecoglou, he's a player who's playing on the right-hand side. He'd run onto the ball, shoot that ball to the far post, and he was really effective in that role where there's less touches needed. Now that Kudus has arrived, he's been played out on the left, and there's more pressure on his link-up play. And I don't think it helps having Jed Spence playing behind him as well, because both of them are right-footed, so there's no one really overlapping. So he's not really being encouraged to make these penetrating runs. Apart from that game against Man City, he's looked largely ineffective. And then there's the midfield. Whilst Polina offers bite and protection off the ball, on the ball, he's not very press resistant. He's not playing many progressive passes. Most of them go backwards or sideways. And you contrast that to someone like Zubimendi, who's a bit of a playmaker in that number 6 role for Arsenal, breaking the lines with these passes. And it becomes apparent that Tottenham lack a destroyer and a creator hybrid in that number 6 role. Now, Archie Gray could be that player, but is he ready now? And finally, moving on to the attack, one real issue that's plagued Tottenham is obviously losing Harry Kane and losing a prime Son Heung-min. You're losing 2 players who are capable of 20 to 30 plus goals a season. Now, Ange Postecoglou obviously struggled with that, and I think Thomas Frank is also struggling with having a number 9 that he can rely on to really score goals and hold up play and link up play. So in conclusion, players like Jed Spence and Pellegrini have made Tottenham harder to beat, but they might also be factors as to why Spurs aren't as free-flowing going forwards. Now, ultimately, if Thomas Frank is going to win the hearts and minds of those Spurs fans and silverware, he's got to find that right blend between steel and silk.
Steel and silk. They certainly want silverware, don't they? Mark, just a quick one on Spurs then. I want to read you something from Jamie Carragher's column in the Telegraph today, where he said managers who take over a side fourth from bottom of the Premier League and guide them into the top 3 within 5 months would normally be hailed as a messiah. Do we think the Spurs fans are behind Thomas Frank at the moment?
They're probably not fully convinced, but I also think a manager that wins their first trophy, like Ange Postecoglou did last year, would be hailed as a bit of a messiah as well. I know they weren't great in the league, but that was a massive moment for them, and a lot of them wanted him out. So I think Spurs have got to just recognise where they're at the minute. I think it's a massive improvement on last year, the league form. They've obviously lost Son at the start of the season. Maddison, one of their most influential players, is out for the year as well. So again, it's probably another team in a bit of transition and just finding their way. But in my opinion, they've made a great start, and if they can carry that on, I think Spurs fans will be happy at the end of the season.
Very well said. A little reminder, you can of course see Tottenham against Chelsea live on Sky Sports Premier League tomorrow night. The coverage starts as always at 5.